Thanks to the support as a channel member, Michael Beagles. Right, folks, we are putting the disappointment of the FA Trophy yesterday behind us and focusing on the positives. That is the last 6 or 8 games of the season. We looked like title contenders. We beat multiple teams who were in the playoffs. We are good enough. We just need to show it for an entire season, and we might need a small handful of players to get us there. So that's the plan for today. Job number 1, try and tie Paris Magoma down to a new contract so we don't lose him. Job number 2, sign 3 or 4 new first-team players and no more. And job number 3, get promoted. That's the third step. That's all it is, get promoted. I don't know if that part will happen in this video. Hello and welcome to part 42 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of season 5 now of the series. Season 5 as manager of Leamington, and it's a season that leaves us still stranded in non-league. I tell you what, FM22, it's a lot harder than FM21 was. If that wasn't already clear, I think we're making it clear with this series. I'd like to think I'm quite good at this game, but I am struggling. I am struggling a little bit on this series. So, signings that came in last summer. Signing of the season has gone to Michael Johnson, which I guess, I mean, he's a very good player, but he was never really a regular starter. Started less than half of our games. I probably would have given it to David Roberts, who's come in, played 39 times and averaged a 7.29. But, I mean, if they want to give it to Johnson, who on earth am I to argue? Other than that, no one else really spectacular. I think we brought in some solid squad players, but I also think part of our issue this season just gone is that a number of these players who've come in maybe are a little bit too average. Looking at Lincoln McFadden, looking at Jimmy Knowles, looking at JJ McKiernan, Elijah Dixon-Bonner, the Ojo Davidson. I know a lot of these got good when we started to get good as a team, but a lot of these were very, very hit and miss in those early days of the season when we were scratching around trying to find a formation. We got there in the end, but no thanks to some of these players who really didn't step up in the way that I guess these two did. So, season-wise, we were supposed to finish mid-table. We did finish mid-table. I would argue, actually, that's, top half finish rather than mid-table. 10th place, ended up 4 points outside of the playoffs. Obviously, it's a massive disappointment compared to where we were the year before, losing in the playoff final. But actually, for a second season in a higher league, we all know second season syndrome can be a thing. And the way we ended the year before and then carried that into starting this season, I think it's a miracle we finished in the top half. As it is, I think we finally have a system and a group of players that works. And fingers crossed we can charge on and get promoted this season to come. Although if Filed haven't gone up, they're potentially going to be a problem. Although having said that, on the final day of the season, we did beat Filed. So we know we're better than a team that was pretty unlucky to miss out on automatic promotion in the same way we were pretty unlucky to miss out on it the year before. We've had some ridiculous results. 7 goals put past Grimsby in that match. And of course, goal of the season was the spectacular effort at Wembley. Oh, in fact, that's not at Wembley. That's really interesting. So Magoma scored an absolute worldie at Wembley against Aldershot and we lost 2-1 in the FA Trophy final. He did it again in the league. Can we still see that goal? Is this the other brilliant goal he scored? Because that's ridiculous. If he's done that against the same team twice and we ended up losing both of the games anyway, is this a carbon copy of the one he did at Wembley? Or is this a different kind of goal? No, this is a different kind of goal. Okay. I know he did the little dink at least once throughout the season, other than at Wembley as well. But, I mean, if I was Aldershot, I'd be looking to sign Magoma based on what he's done against them in matches this season. Reputation-wise, we're still a 1.5-star club. Money-wise, a lot of it's gone down, but got balanced out by the sale of Gilks. So sponsorships and match day revenue, corporate, all that stuff's gone down because we didn't have the FA Cup run. Competition prize money's actually up because we have the FA Trophy run. But the big thing that isn't shown on there is transfer revenue. Obviously, selling a player for 150,000 when you're a club of our size was massive and has helped us balance the books this season. Top shirt seller, as you would expect, is Magoma. Andrucci, Dixon, Bonner, Roberts and Knowles also in the top 5. And then the team of the year is Blair in goal, a back four of Gilks, Roberts, Williams and Dixon Bonner, Johnson and Magoma in midfield, and then Norris, Davidson and Okoflex behind Knowles up front. It's pretty evident from that and where the average ratings lie that our issue is going forward. Defensively, we are pretty strong, although obviously we've sold Gilks, but we might be able to loan him back. Williams is only in on loan, but we've already secured his loan back for the coming season. Roberts will still be here. Dixon, Bonner and Blair will still be here. Magoma might be leaving, but Johnson should still be here. But it's these guys who really need to either step up or get lost and allow us to bring in the attackers that will lead us to the promised land. Competition and player award stuff. Williams won Fans Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year, so good to have him going back on loan for another season. Signing of the season we already know about, and goal of the season. Top goal scorer was Knowles with 12. That says it all about our attack. Got to do better than 12 goals for our top scorer. Magoma, most assists on 10. Williams, most man of the matches. Williams also getting top average rating. And Johnson has the best pass completion. I think what I'm learning from this is we should be using Michael Johnson more than we have been. Most goals in a match goes to Jimmy Knowles, who scored 4 in a match, which, again, makes that 12 goals for the season look even worse, because that means in the other 39 games, he only scored 8 times as our main striker. Got to be replaced this summer, especially at 25. We know he's not going to get any better. And then we also broke the club transfer record with Amani Gilks for 150,000. Our all-time best 11 then has Marshall in goal, Brown at left back, who has now retired. So I'm surprised Gilks hasn't. I guess Gilks didn't have time to step in and replace him there. Price, who probably won't be here next year. He's been here on loan for a couple of years. Kind of lost his place second half of last season when we got good. Price almost coincides with when we were rubbish. He came in the team when we started being rubbish, and when he left the team, we started getting good again. So although he's in the all-time best 11, I don't think we're going to see any more of Shea Price. Colvin, of course, is still here. Rhodes has just left the club. He's gone to sign for Crawley, also in the National League. I thought Crawley were in the Football League now. Maybe I missed that. Maybe they got relegated. Donnell Thomas is in central midfield, still at Colchester. I don't know if he's out of contract. He is. We might look at him. And Magoma, of course, who might be moving on. I mean, Thomas could be the guy who replaces Magoma. That might not be the worst thing we could do. Waltman on the left-hand side of midfield, who, of course, we have sold. He's actually made his Champions League debut for Liverpool recently, but in-game, not quite the same young talent that he might be in real life, as shown by the fact he somehow managed to leave, go to Boston, and have an even worse season than the 2 that he had for us previously. McAneff is, I mean, he's still here. He is kind of being phased out. He's done 3 years now, and not really spectacular, is it? Averaging 6.82 over 3 years. I think he's probably a perfect example of how the attack needs to improve. Okoflex on the right, exactly the same situation. He's done 2 years. I'm not overly impressed with that as 2 years worth of performance. And Elliot Andrew up front is now playing for Slough, where he is not really scoring goals. It's really, really clear, not just where the problem is this season, where the problem has been for the last 5 years. We need really good attacking players. And as soon as we get them, we'll be absolutely fine. Club vision-wise, the board are looking for us to finish top half of the table again. And then by the season after, be in the playoffs and challenging for promotion. We're obviously looking to get promoted this coming year. I think 3 years in a league is plenty. I think it's got to be either promotion or new club. But of course, the whole idea of a new club does come with the idea of someone that actually has to want me. We've been on 3 interviews now over the course of the save. That finger didn't straighten very well, did it? Goodness me. We've been on interviews at Walsall, Burton Albion and Hibernian, and didn't get any of the jobs. So there's only so much I can do. I'm going on the interviews. If we don't get the jobs, we don't get the jobs. We have to continue pursuing success here at Leamington, but we'll accept all that. Livermore and Colvin as team leaders are likely to be sticking around. It's nice that we've got some team leaders now. It'd be even nicer if we had a few more of these step up to be highly influential players and really start to have a proper squad structure in place, which is quite rare in non-league, I think, to have players who've been around for as long as some of these. I mean, Colvin and Livermore have probably been here 3, maybe 4 years. So it's quite nice to have some longevity of players in there. Team meeting wise, we're just going to tell the boys exactly what the board just told me. We're looking for top half. They seem pretty happy with that, which is nice. And now we're just waiting for budgets. Remember, our budget at the moment, wage budget, is 12k, and we had a little bit of transfer budget as well. As long as that doesn't go down, we're happy. We've avoided the tax hit. How have we avoided a tax hit when we made a profit? Oh, my accountant, I need to have a word with him if you can make a profit and not pay any tax. That's quite impressive. Commercial summary, we already know about all that kind of stuff. We looked at that before. As ever, we'll take a scouting package just for the summer and then stuff the money over into other budgets once the summer and all our transfers are done. We don't need to be paying big money for scouting packages all year round. And then budget-wise, we are hoping no decrease. I don't need an increase. No decrease, please. That, boys and girls, is called a decrease. They have taken £1,000 a week out of my wage budget, and I feel like they've taken half the transfer budget off me as well, despite the fact our financial situation is healthier than it's ever been. Even the projection is looking good. That's what you get for not spending your budgets, folks. If we'd have maxed out that budget, they'd have given it back to us. I mean, it's not a disaster, but it does make it a little bit harder to bring in real quality, because now, if nobody leaves, we can only really bring in 2 players. There's probably going to be some people leaving, so we can get around it that way, but it's not ideal. Right, plan as ever then. We will try and renew the contract of Magoma. I think he's the only significant player who's going to be leaving this summer. If Petrovic can be cheap, we'll probably give him a new deal as well. Cartwright, though, is done. He can leave. These loans, I'm not really desperate to bring any of these back. If we could get Gilks for free, I would. But the last time I checked, Coventry wanted a ridiculous contribution to his wages. Yeah, we're not paying £625 a week to loan him in. So we'll let all those guys go. Everyone else is under contract until next season. The one that we want is Magoma, but he is still unhappy that he's been treated unfairly after last season's shenanigans. Even though we didn't treat him unfairly, I think we're going to lose him, and he's arguably our best player. Can we just discuss? I want to discuss contract. What a ridiculous thing to not be able to discuss with him. I want to be able to discuss his contract and ask him to sign a new one. I want to be able to apologize for what I did in the past, even though I didn't do anything. I think we're going to lose him. Which, I mean, we're not going to get a player of that quality for that price, which again, with the budget being reduced, is problematic. The plan from here, then I sit here for a month trying to renew his contract. Otherwise, we wait until the 1st of July, watch him walk out the door with a tear in our eyes and bring in a bunch of trialists to replace him and hope we unearth another gem. If anything happens in the meantime, I'll obviously let you know. Oh, boys and girls, breaking news, 23rd of June. 8 days before his contract due to expire, Paris Magoma is willing to trust me again. Oh, we're actually going to get him. How much money is he going to want? Probably loads. Oh, God, it's a lot of money. We just got to give him what he wants, haven't we? He's Paris Magoma, for goodness sake. Right, let's start. I mean, this is where he gets upset with me. And I'm willing to trust you. Here, have less than half of what you're asking for. 400? Eeks. 500. Come on, you got to say yes to 500. Oh, it's a big pay rise. He's probably amongst the highest paid players at the club now. But importantly, we are getting him, and you know how important he is. We did miss out on Zidane Iqbal, who I was trying to bring in as his replacement. He's gone to Exeter, and we had him in on trial very briefly. He was the one I was hopefully going to bring in as his replacement. We missed out on him. We offered him about £700 a week to try and get him in as a replacement for Magoma, but I'm much happier with Magoma. We're also trying to bring in Mo Isa, former Peterborough striker, who's been at McDongs in League One for the last 5 years. I mean, he's not scoring spectacularly in League One, but he's still only 31. He's playing in League One. He'll come down to us and absolutely ruin the National League for a year. So we're hopefully going to be bringing him in. And we have also brought in this guy, Marley Redfern. who is a 23-year-old Scottish right winger, who is better than anyone else we've got at the club on the right wing by a mile. Potential to be a leading League Two right winger in the future. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's in from Hamilton on a free transfer before we've even hit the 1st of July. And then other than that, we are just trying to fight off teams, trying to bring in, trying to take my best young players. We've had to set agreed asking prices for 2 of them. So David Roberts, as you can see, we're being chased by a lot of Championship and League One clubs. He's agreed to an asking price of £130,000. The other one who we've had to agree an asking price with is Norris. And I think it was 80,000 we've agreed. Yeah, an 80,000 fee for him. Again, being chased by a number of clubs. But at the moment, they're both happy with the fees that I've put on them. And fingers crossed, no one's met those fees yet. So hopefully we get to keep those 2 boys around. David, you agreed to it, you moron. You genuinely agreed to it. I don't understand. We've got a few players who want to leave, but we're all right at the moment. Excellent team cohesion, very good club atmosphere. And even with the Magoma new contract, still a little bit of spare wage budget as well. This is all going quite well. If we keep Paris Magoma, that is the signing of the summer by a long way. Well, it's the 30th of June, contract expiry day. This window is bonkers so far. Navarro, Senior, Cartwright, Adidok, Petrovic have all been released, as well as some of the young players as well. But that's not even the headline. The headline is the amount of absurd transfers potentially going on. Philip Marshall's going to Bristol City. He wanted to leave. He was our backup keeper. I wasn't going to stand in his way, so he's off to be a backup keeper in the Championship. But David Roberts, we agreed his value at 130,000. Offers are now up to and including over 200 for some of these. Peterborough just in with 200,000. Several of these clubs are offering a loan back. So I'm hoping he goes to one of the clubs that are offering a loan back. Peterborough didn't want to loan him back, which is why they offered more money. But he's almost certainly going to be leaving to go and play in the Championship for 150, 200,000, which is nuts. Even more nuts, though, is the Michael Johnson situation. Bearing in mind, we weren't really using him. But he played 35 games, but only started 17. He agreed a asking price of 325,000, but then Derby offered 245,000, which the board have accepted. Barnsley have come in with a different kind of structure of an offer, but it ends up working out at over 300,000. I think the Derby deal involves a loan back for him as well. So we could potentially have £400,000 to £500,000 worth of player sales about to go out of the club, which on 20% transfer revenue retained means we'd have over £100,000 in transfer money to spend, plus a very, very healthy bank balance, which could be enough to allow us to go professional. I'm holding fire until that money's in before I ask if we can go professional again. But we could have significant developments this summer, and we haven't even really got started on transfers yet. This was kind of just the we're waiting for the 1st of July situation. I'm not renewing any of these just yet for the players who are out of contract next summer. I want to see who we can bring in first, so we don't end up with an Adidok situation again, or a Senior situation. There were a couple of them who I renewed their contracts early in the summer, then signed better players and had to loan them out. So we'll hold fire briefly on that, but it is very close to being the first. And Pete, this is ridiculous. Right. This is broken now because Peterborough offered 175,000 just as a flat fee. I asked for a loan back and they removed it and put the offer up to 210,000, which I then accepted, and they're now offering the loan back. I mean, I'm not complaining. It looks like Roberts for sure is going to be going for big money, but then immediately being loaned back to us for nothing, which is perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's a confirmation Marshall has gone. So we'll need a new backup keeper because that's Marshall and Cartwright have both gone this summer. I don't know what's going on. This is just bananas what's going on this summer. I just hope we're able to bring in decent quality of players. Oh, and Magoma did sign his new contract, which unbelievably isn't even the headline. And there's your confirmation that Gilks and a few others, their loans have expired. I don't know. I mean, look at the value on Gilks now. I don't know if now he's gone, we'll be able to loan him back for nothing. No, they still want far too much of a wage contribution. I think Gilks is finished. Hopefully Norris doesn't go as well. But there we have it. It is the 1st of July. We will promote Sam Blair to first choice keeper. I thought he already was. And yes, we'll focus on the transfer market because apparently we're doing wonders in the transfer market. What is my, I mean, even now without these transfers going through, how do I look at my, so I've spent nothing and already brought in 160,000. So I'm a net £160,000 profit at the moment. But with these fees coming through as well, I'm like the money making machine for Leamington. I mean, they've paid me quite a lot of money to do it, but I mean, if I were the Leamington board with this summer of business that's going on, I would be offering me a much longer contract on much more money and just saying, right, Kev, stay here for the next 20 years and just make us all the money. If you go up the leagues while you do it, that's great. But the real priority is just fill the bank balance and let the club grow organically that way. It's spectacular what's going. Watch all these deals fall through now. But I'm now going to go and get a load of trialists in. Oh, and by the way, again, another headline. We'd signed Mo Issa. 1 year contract on £300 a week for a player who's he played in League One. Okay, not last year, but played in League One until last year. I guess he was left out of the squad last year, but until then, he was playing. Tell me he's not had a big injury. This might not be as good a transfer as I think it is. In my head, he was playing last year. I've misread that. No, I think he's just been left out of their squad. But loads of goals in his career at a higher level than we're playing at. It's a 1 year contract on £300 a week. It's very low risk. Either he comes in and he's a superstar and scores an absolute ton of goals for us, or he sits on our bench or is in the reserves and it doesn't really matter at £300 a week on a 1 year contract. I know it's not a typical signing to bring in a 31-year-old, but it just seems to make sense to me at the moment. That squad, I mean, it's looking a bit thin, but it's absolutely jam-packed with quality. Can't believe we managed to get this guy. So excited. It would take a really impressive job offer to make me leave this Leamington team at the moment. I am loving this job. I am loving this save. There's nothing there that appeals to me. Weirdly, Eastleigh, who went up as champions, I guess their manager's been poached by somebody. So their manager, Ken McKenna, is what? He's just unemployed. So he got Eastleigh into the Football League. Is he retiring? He's 65 years old. I don't understand. Got promoted, got manager of the year, left, and he's now just unemployed. He must be retiring. Where does it say if he's retiring? No plans for future. What the hell? Weird. Perhaps he just felt he wouldn't be able to keep them up and didn't want a relegation. It's just weird. I don't really understand that. And then Burnley in the Championship there. So there's not even any interesting jobs available. I'm very much looking forward to the rest of this transfer window. Well, the transfer saga of the two big sales has now completed. David Roberts has gone to West Brom for £145,000 and as part of the deal has been loaned back to us for free for the season. He's earning 1.8k a week at West Brom on a 2-year contract. But we've got him for free for the rest of the season, which is awesome. Not quite so lucky with Johnson. The vast majority of the clubs that were in for him were offering the loan back. But he ended up choosing to go to Derby. We were in a position where we were just accepting all of these offers because we didn't have a choice. Any I tried to decline, they'd just come back in and the board would accept them over my head. So I think this was one of the highest at £245,000, but there was no loan back and he's earning 1.6k a week. And to loan him, Derby want 100% of his wages, which obviously we're not going to pay. We'll keep an eye on the situation. If we're able to bring him back in on a free loan at some point, then obviously we shall, but it seems pretty unlikely. The only other business we've done so far is, no, not David Roberts, the guy above him, Sam French, has come in as our new goalkeeper. We were down to one, we had to bring one in, so Sam French is the one who's come in. He's probably a little better than Blair, so might be our new first choice goalkeeper even. He was playing for Cheltenham last year in this league. Cheltenham finished 16th. That's not ideal. To be fair, though, they were in the Football League the year before, and he played a full season for them in League Two. So certainly a goalkeeper who's capable of playing in the Football League and being part of a successful team at this level. So he is in. The finances look delicious. So we've got a transfer budget of £100,000. Now, obviously, we're not going to spend that. What we're going to do is stick it all into wage budgets. That actually puts the wage budget back up above what it was previously. We'll just leave a little bit in transfer budget to pay signing on fees and things like that. But that puts the wage budget back to where it was before, which is handy. The club balance, £650,000 in the bank. And the projection's not ideal, but I'm hoping just the balance will be enough for the board to agree for us to go professional. So I'm going to ask if we can go professional. And we've got a bunch of trialists in on trial at the moment as well. So we're just having a look through some of these. But I think first we just want to see what they say about turning professional. Can we get an answer on that quickly, please, board? I really need to get on with some of these transfers. But in the meantime, I want to know if I'm offering professional or semi-professional contracts. We'll do one more continue. Otherwise, we'll just have to wait. I guess they're going to take their time getting back to us. Or did they just say no immediately before? Because none of this seems to be about professional status. Ant Chipman, one of our name in the game, folks. Looks like he's going to be going out on loan. There's a number of clubs in for him. So we'll just let him go out on loan wherever wants him, really. These are a couple of players who I've already made offers for, who, as usual, the first 20 players I offer for every summer end up going somewhere else. We have to go through the process. You never know, you might sneak one through the door, but we're not doing very well with that so far. Yeah, they're paying 80% of his salary. That seems fine for him to go out. And it looks like we're not going to hear back about the professional thing. So as and when we do, I'll show you. I need to get on with signing some of these players. And the board are not willing to do professional status. We're happy with the club's position in the football pyramid at present. Historically, the club has never been higher in the league pyramid. We would rather stabilise at this level first. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know we want to get promoted to the Football League, but for Leamington, they're just going to be happy being a mid-table club that sells £400,000 of a player every summer. I mean, add in the 150. We've done £650,000 of player sales in the last year, whilst being semi-pro and sitting in mid-table in a league that realistically, based on the size of the club, we're not big enough to get out of. So I completely understand why they've got no desire to rock the boat. They're happy doing things the way we're doing them. So I guess for now, which I'm not even going to argue. I don't think it's my place as manager to argue. They've told me their answer. It makes sense. We'll just accept it and carry on trying to sign players. Slowly but surely, the squad is starting to take shape, and we're able to throw a little bit of money at it as well. A slightly higher caliber of player than maybe we've been able to bring in the past, including spending money on a transfer fee for the first time. We'll get to that in a second. Firstly, Tom Worcester is a new third-choice goalkeeper for us, in from Manchester United, previously of Barnsley. He's never played a game for anyone, but he's got 5-star, potentially 6'3". He'll do as our third choice to sit in the under-23s of the season, and if he develops nicely, maybe challenge for that first team spot. Our new record signing, probably isn't our record signing. I don't know what the club record signing is, actually. Where would I find that kind of thing out? He is the club record signing. Probably the only player they've ever paid for. So Jeremy Kiezu, who I think I've had in a previous non-league to legend, maybe at Kettering last year. I'm sure the historians will let me know. But he's a left back, so our Gilks replacement, effectively, if Norris is going to be our left winger this year, which I think he probably is. A 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential to be a leading League Two player in the future, which is exactly what we want. He's never played in non-league before. He's never really played regularly before, but Bradford have kept him in and around League Two, League One squads for the last 4 years. So I figure that should mean he's half decent. I've also got Tyler Goodrum, who's a 22-year-old striker who can also play as an attacking midfielder. He is the best striker at the club now, even better than Mo Isa, who's just come in. Jimmy Knowles and Andrucci, of course, still knocking around the place as well. But this guy, Swansea, felt the need to pay £250,000 for a couple of years ago to take him to the Championship after he'd been at Oxford in League One, League Two, and he's scored goals previously in the National League North as well for York when he's been out on loan. And Nicola Tavares, a 27-year-old centre-back. He's actually come straight in as our new captain. We wanted to get some leadership into the squad, and Livermore realistically isn't going to be playing regularly this coming season, so we needed to replace him as captain. Colvin as vice-captain, also probably not going to be playing, so we wanted to get a captain who's likely to be playing week in, week out, and Tavares is definitely that. He's a centre-back who's done a little bit of a tour around various clubs where he's never really fully established himself. Started at Brentford, went to Palace, then dropped down into non-league with Wealdstone, where he had 2 good years with them, albeit one of them resulting in a relegation. But when he left them at the end of his contract, he ended up jumping all the way up into League One with Colchester, where he didn't really make the breakthrough. Swindon paid money to take him to League Two. He didn't really make the breakthrough, but last year he was on loan at Grimsby for the season and played a full season down at this level for Grimsby. So I think we bring him in. He can be our starting centre-back alongside Roberts. And then we've got Williams and Colvin there as backups. That seems to make sense to me. On top of all that, we've sold Lincoln McFadden, so another left-back out. He's gone to Oxford for £12,000. I don't anticipate him going there and playing, but I guess they just wanted to bring in a squad player. Some of these AI transfers make absolutely no sense. They're actually paying him less than we were, I think. But this is what the squad looks like at the moment. If we put them in position order, so you can see what we've got. 21 players, so we still probably want a couple more in. And we do have a little bit more budget still to play with to allow us to probably bring a couple more in. We are a little bit front heavy in terms of player, but not necessarily quality. The likes of McAneff, Andrucci, McKiernan, probably not going to be that involved this season. So we might look to move some of those on to free up some wage bill, maybe putting them out on loan. Our defence is looking very strong as ever, with Kiezu, Roberts, Tavares, and probably Dixon Bonner at right back. We are trying to bring a right back in, but certainly those 3 positions looking very strong. Got good competition in goal. We probably need another midfield player. We are a little bit light here. If Dixon Bonner's going to be right back, Redfern's our right wing. Roberts, of course, playing centre back. We don't really want to be playing Livermore. That feels like a little bit of a step back, but at the moment, it's probably going to be Magoma and Livermore, unless Dixon Bonner comes in there, in which case we need another right back in. So we probably need central midfielders more than anything. Central midfield, right back, and I think we've probably got enough quality in the attacking areas to field a team and probably trim some of those players off to make room for transfers in other areas. As far as loans are concerned, we've already got 2 players in on loan, so we could probably look to bring in a couple more. I think you're only allowed 5, so we can't go nuts on loans either. So still business to do. It's the 22nd of July. The season starts on the 1st of August. We're unlikely to be completely finished with all the business come the start of the new season, but to be honest, I think I'd be pretty comfortable starting the season now. Season preview has us in 7th place at the moment. We don't have anybody in the Media Dream 11, but I don't really expect to have anyone in there. But I think we'd probably be pretty competitive straight away. We ended last season strongly, and I think we've improved the team. We just need to fill a couple of gaps now. Well, we have run out on time before the season has started, and this squad isn't really finished. We haven't really brought anyone else in of first team quality. We've got this guy, Scott Hughes, who'll be fine. He's another youngster. He's previously of Leeds. He'll be fine at some point, probably, as cover at right back, but not really to be part of the team straight away. And we have sent McKiernan and McAneff out on loan. So McKiernan's gone on loan for the season to South Shields, and McAneff has gone to Havant and Waterlooville, both dropping down a division, both having their wages paid in full by the teams that they've gone to. So we have plenty of money. So money is not the problem this summer. The problem is finding players with appropriate levels of talent to come in and improve the squad. I think we've talked about it before. We are kind of at that point where our team is pretty good, and to be able to find players who actually improve the team costs loads of money, and we don't really have loads of money. We have a little bit of money, and we're trying to bring this guy in on loan, Finn McDade, who's a central midfield player. We're very short in central midfield, and he's much better than everything we've got, supposedly. Played a full season on loan at Port Vale last year in this league, Chesterfield the year before. He's a Forest Green player, but I mean, he's going to cost a lot of money. They want us to pay his full wages and a loan fee. It's going to be like a £60,000 loan fee, which is an extraordinary amount of money. But we're so low on players. We've got a first-team squad of 20 people, and realistically, if we got an offer for Andrucci, we'd probably let him go. I don't see him getting very close to the team at all this season. But with 2 suspensions on the first day, our first-choice centre-back partnership, both suspended for opening day, which is not ideal. It means that our first team of the season, we've got no reserve centre-back. If something happens to Williams or Colvin, we have a problem. And we're having to play one of those non-contract youngsters in midfield, Samuel Muller, who came in from Liverpool in the summer. We're in the process of offering a contract for the season. If he's going to play, he's going to end up quite good, and we want to be able to sell him for money. And we have got Livermore knocking around as well, but Livermore doesn't really suit the deep line playmaker role. I don't want Magoma playing that deep. So I think that's probably the team for the start of the new season. If we think back to what we were actually looking to do and think back to what the plan was, I've kind of followed the plan for once, although we could still use a few more bodies through the door. We said we needed a right back and a central midfielder. We've not really got either of those. We've got a new central midfielder in there, and we are still trying to get a right back. We said we wanted to upgrade the goalkeeper. We've done that. We needed a new left back. We've done that. We needed some more attacking threat with Redfern and Isa. We've done that. One slight problem is there's now an offer in for Norris. Sunderland have offered the £80,000 value we agreed with him. So we're probably going to be losing James Norris as well, which means, I don't know, maybe that opens the door back up again for Andrucci. More likely, probably Okoflex comes in the team on the left-hand side, which might not be a disaster. We've always played him on the right. I was looking on here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Good League One left midfielder in the future. So maybe his future is playing on this left-hand side as either an inverted winger or an inside forward. Perhaps that's why we've not been getting the best out of him. So it might be best for him to move over onto the left. But with Norris going as well, and Andrucci not really in the plans, that's a first-team squad of 18 players. We need players, and we need them quick. But first, we're going to have to play the new season, and we'll do that tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.